Welcome to the Teach Different podcast. What is it? Wednesday, April 8th. We're coming off of Easter and a pretty crazy weekend geopolitically with a lot of things going on in the Middle East. We've got this Iran war, and we've got a lot of challenges, you might want to say, in our society just to remain sane. You know, we've got a president who's very vociferous, right? He expresses his opinions in a very strong way, and it's got a lot of people on edge. And obviously, anytime you're in a war, the stuff is serious, and we're kind of muddling through this. And what I wanted to do today with my guests Jarvis, Tree, and Bully, my familiar guests, is we're going to talk a little bit about the conflict and what's happening, but we're going to do it, and we're going to model this conversation using a technique that hopefully can keep us kind of centered and keep us talking about a very controversial issue in a way where people can listen and not feel like one of us is taking sides and we're biased about something, but that we're really critically thinking about this. And by doing this, we're modeling the way that you need to talk to people these days. I think that people are putting their heads in the sand and they're not wanting to reach out and talk to people who they disagree with, because everything starts escalating almost the minute it starts. But we're going to show you we can talk about an issue like this in a very intelligent way, and then leave understanding something more, wiser at the very least. So that's how we roll. We're going to use this Teach Different method, and we're going to do it by talking about a quote first. But before I start, let me get, Bully's going to join us in about 5 minutes or so, but let me just get Jarvis and Tree just to introduce yourself very briefly for people who are listening for the first time. I don't always ask you both to introduce yourself, but I figured, let's do that again in case we have new listeners. Jarvis, you first. Just, where are you from? The Chicago thing.
I'm Jarvis Funches. I'm from Chicago. I am a community activist. I work for CTA. I also do outreach programs to reach out to the young people in my community, the youth. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And for those of you who don't know, CTA is Chicago Transit Authority.
Oh, wow, I'm sorry. Yeah.
My name is, hey, how's it going, everybody on the podcast listening out there? My name is Tree. I'm a social media influencer, community activist, gun violence advocate, mentor, actor, musician. Do a lot of stuff here in the city.
Very nice. Just had a trip to Atlanta doing some artistic work, and we're going to be working together on projects the minute that we can get these things set up. And we're going to be platforming voices from gentlemen like this. And I see Bully just came on as well. Bully, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. You know what? Go ahead and do that now, very briefly. Everybody reintroduce themselves, and I'm asking everybody to do that.
Hi, my name Buddy. I'm a street legend, Chicago legend. You know what I'm saying? I do work in the community. I do work violence prevention, mentorships. I'm a case manager with kids. I get them workforce development. I'm in the community all day, every day, working with high risk youth, either high risk of shooting somebody or getting shot. I deal with the worst of the worst because I was them, so I'm trying to lead by example and mentorship. I'm also an actor as well. I have movies currently out on Prime and Tubi. You can check them out. And this is Teach Different Podcast. Welcome, everybody. And I'm from Chicago, Illinois, but I'm worldwide,
Going worldwide.
Nice. And hey, Bully, see if you can remember to send me those links again before we leave. I'm sorry I didn't copy and paste them last time of your work, the movies and stuff. Make sure you do that. All right, let's go. We're gonna have a conversation here, and we're gonna start with this quote from Margaret Thatcher. All right. Now, I don't know who knows Margaret Thatcher in this group, but she was a prime minister of Britain in the 80s. Okay. So this is before you all were born. I was alive. And this is a lady who got a reputation for being a pretty tough talker. She was around when Ronald Reagan was president, and they really got along well. And she had a reputation for being very straightforward and tough with her language and with her negotiating tactics. And she has a quote here that we're going to use to kick off our discussion that's going to meander into the Iran conflict. And so here we go. The quote is, "You don't win a war by talking to the enemy. You don't win a war by talking to the enemy." Who's got a thought on this quote? Is it resonating with anybody here? Is it making sense?
Yeah, I could dig that because it's like to when you talk to the enemy, that means y'all mediating and coming to a conflict resolution. So you're not really winning the war, you ending the war. So when you talk to the enemy, you coming up with a peace agreement and a conflict resolution. But it's just ending the war. Winning the war is destroying your opponent to submission till it ain't no more. That's what I took from it.
You took the word win, and you're like, I know what win means. It's dominating, right? It's, you know what? Go with that one. What are your thoughts, Tree?
You can't win a war by talking to the enemy. I feel like once it's a war, once we're at war, the time for talking is already past. We're in war now. So in war, there is no time to talk. There's only action. There's only survival. There's only the end goal, which is to eventually end this so we can get to peace. So this violence that has to happen now, we're there now. And now the time for me to try to talk to you out of me stabbing you is gone. I tried to talk to, I didn't have to stab you, but you're the enemy. And your mindset isn't on talking. Your mindset is on finishing me. So we're in the middle of war. I don't have time to try to talk to you and plead with you. Hey, brother, can't you just understand we're the same? No, you already got your sword at my neck. So the time for talking is over. I can't talk to you to win this at this point. I have to eliminate you at this point.
Jarvis.
Mhm. I feel like Bully and Tree, it's a 50-50 because, like, my personal thoughts about this quote was that it's true. You can't win a war by talking to your enemy. But as I started to think about it deeply and more, it's like it's 50-50. Why do I say that it's 50-50? It's because you talking to your enemy can expose too many weaknesses and give your opponent the opportunity to strike you at a place that you did not want to be striked at. You know what I'm saying? But vice versa, like Bully said, if we could have a conflict like JF Kennedy did with the Cuban Missile, I think it was like in 1996, they was finna
60,
bomb
60.
Cuba.
I know. Yeah, you're.
Yeah.
It's
They was finna bomb Cuba for something. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. But they was gonna bomb Cuba for something. But JF Kennedy resolved that and just talking, coming to a resolution, coming to an understanding of that. You know what? Whatever we got going on, we could put this to bed. But this got to be what we gonna do. No back ends, no back doing, no trying to backstab me. This got to be what we doing. And I feel like that's what's gonna happen now, even with the Iran war against the United States. I just really feel like they're gonna come to an agreement to where, you know, they could be able to resolve it without being bombed and destroyed. Like, you know what I'm saying? But talking to the enemy does open up a lot of gates. And I just be thinking like it's a lot of Iran or a lot of people that own corner stores and stuff like that in the minority communities and stuff like that. So I really do think that it's gonna be resolved in a talk, because like, what about the people that's already here? You know what I'm saying? That's already Americans, but you blowing up where their family is. Like, how do you think they're gonna respond and they already here? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
really do think it's gonna
So
end in
you're a little bit more
resolution.
hopeful with the
Yeah,
Iran conflict that it's going to end hopefully by talking.
yeah.
Uh,
Because I say that because, like, okay, even if we do go and bomb these people, like our president, he's very straightforward, which I love that about him. But you have to be smart, not naive to what you're doing. Now you threaten to blow up people that's over across seas, but you don't have let in presidents before you let numerous of these people in. You know what I'm saying? They good people though. Like, it's nothing against them, but he let numerous of these people come over for decades, years and stuff. And now you just got in the office, and now you just cracking down on all of the drug gangs, so you don't think all these Iranian people got bombs over here already? You don't think they got AKs
okay,
over here already?
you're
You
you're
don't think
you're bringing in immigration and this idea that if you're gonna bomb another country and you're gonna be at war with another country, you got to remember
the
that
ones
they've
that you
got
let
some
into your country,
tentacles here, and you could be putting everyone at risk.
everyone at risk,
That
because
that
now you
that
can have a
started this.
terrorist.
Let me do a question, because I didn't think that this is a good example of where you're in a conversation, and I didn't think I was going to ask this question before you all started talking. And my question now is, what is a war? Because you know how we've heard Cold War? There's a Cold War, there's a hot war. Like a Cold War is a war that was going on for 50, 60, 70 years after World War II, where it was just, it was the Soviet Union and America were the two major superpowers, right? They didn't like each other, and they fought each other kind of indirectly, but they never wanted to take on each other and have a real hot war. Why? Because they got nuclear weapons, and that's mutually assured destruction. So they would end up like siding with different countries, and those countries would fight. And it was a Cold War between the two giants. But I heard Bully and Tree mention that once the war has started, the talking is done. And so I'd like either Bully or Tree to step in and clarify what war means to you. And I mean, I got a sense of what you were talking about with it, but what is it? What kind of war is it always good to stop talking on? Because we were talking to the Soviet Union for 60
Yeah,
years and we hated them.
right. It's like wars when somebody can't come to agree on something. They have a disagreement on something. They can't come to a verbal agreement, so they had to physically get their point across or physically force their will or to get the other side to submit to their ways and come to their conclusion. So war to me is like when war to me is sacrifice. When it's time to war, it means like we did all the talking out the window. Now we got to sacrifice our people to prove to get our point across. And war is nothing to me but destruction, horror, trauma, amongst other things. Because it'll be so many casualties not even involved in war that it'd be more people died that don't have nothing to do with it than the people that did with it. Because the president and the prime minister is not out there in the field. It's the soldiers out there in the field. It's them families out there in the rain. What about the little kids out there running around in Iran when Trump bombed? You know what I'm saying? That's casualties of war. I feel war is never good. Don't nothing good come out of war. Don't nothing good come out of war.
Yeah. Yeah. Tree, what do you think?
To me, war is the result of human greed. Uh, the result of human greed, the need for power, conquering, and egos. War is the result of human beings needing. Because I like fighting, like two people fighting. That's not war to me. That's just fighting. But when I think of war, I think of like nations of people, and some form of conquering or taking over of territory or resources or some type of valuable thing that one nation of people needs and the other nation is trying to somehow apprehend or take, or some form of land that isn't being shared the right way, where it's to the point where now it may be greed involved because y'all can't come to a reasonable conclusion civilly, like civilized human beings, that doesn't involve death, to the point where it's so serious that you feel like we need this so bad, we will kill y'all. We need this land so bad, we will kill y'all for it, children and all. And then, yeah, it's a lot of other land on the world, but we want this land too. We want these resources too. So, like Buddy was saying, it is nothing but horrific violence. I don't feel like we even need wars as human beings. We're not animals. Of course, we are animals, but we're supposed to be consciously higher, supposed to be the highest form of intelligence on this planet. Yet we can't resolve misunderstandings, disagreements. We can't share. We can't share the resources. Like, what's going on, bro?
You sound like Plato, Greek philosopher, who said the exact same thing that you said, which is war starts and the need for an army starts because we get greedy and we want what others have. And let me go with that thought for a moment. And maybe Jarvis, you can weigh in on this one first. Take the Iran conflict real quick and think of the two different perspectives. The war was started by the US and Israel. They started dropping the bombs, right? They started basically saying, it's been 47 years, you're a terrorist state, Iran. So it's time to take you out, okay? But of course, you know, it was, they actually did this back in June as well. But the idea I'm trying to get across is that's their perspective. The bombs started dropping. Push the buttons. Then you got Iran, who's getting bombed. Okay? They're in a war, right? But I don't think it's fair to say that they're in a war because of they're greedy. Maybe you could argue that. I don't want to, you know what? I'll let you all argue that if you want. But I'm trying to get a sense of the different perspectives. What are your thoughts, Jarvis?
I mean, like, so to any human being with humanity, it'll be that, to be honest, that would be war to me. Something that's being suppressed, something that's being over conquered. Like Iran, like you said, they dropped bombs on them. Like, at that point, we gotta fight back. You suppressing us, like you trying to destroy us. Like, we didn't come bombing y'all first, y'all came bombing us. Like that's not war. That's us defending ourselves. And if us defending ourselves is war, then let that be that. But I'm not just finna, it's just like anything, like vice versa. Us having our homes. You're not just gonna let a burglar just come in your house and take what they want. No, you're not. Like, you're gonna have to take it by force. And that's how people feel. That's how Iran feel. And that's why I say I really hope that it be resolved and talking, because if it's like that, then the people that's here, they could start bombing us from the inside. They could start shooting up the streets, just walking out. They could do whatever they want to do. Shit, they already here. So I don't know, man. But in our runs point of view, they just defending themselves. And if anybody with humanity will understand that, it's just like you punching another human being in the face. They're gonna respond. They might not respond the way you want them to either. But it's just pretty much, man, that's not right.
I get you. It's defense, right? And there's a different
Self-defense.
reason. I always wonder about that, like the different reasons people go to war. There are multiple reasons. And Tree, you brought up some. We just brought up the defensive posture, right? Some people are in war and they didn't choose it. Can we talk about that? Like, does that give you an advantage? Here's a question.
That's bogus. And to be honest, so that what really happened. So basically, United States just started bombing Iran because they felt the need to, and then basically the people responded back, and now they terrorists, or now we at war. You oppressing these people. That's just like slavery. You physically abusing these people and expected them not to retaliate. You needed them. You knew that in the first place, but you still chose to bomb these people like you did not need them. You knew you needed them for oil. You just doing stuff, gang, and that's not right, gang. You just doing stuff, bro. And now you want to say you at war with these people when they just defending themselves and their homeland, their children, and the people that they love. Like that's nah.
No, that's a perspective on this, Jarvis. Of course, there are people who are going to talk about the way that Iran has acted over the last 47 years, because Iran supports groups that actually do terrorize other people and bomb other people. So I don't want to take a side on this. I just want to say that in this war, this specific instance, it was started by the US and Israel, right? But they're going to claim that Iran has already chosen this one because they've done some things in the past. So, Tree, what are you thinking? Here's my question. Defensive posture in war. Does the group that gets attacked, that didn't ask for the war, do they have an advantage in a war over the aggressor?
To a degree, I would say. To a degree. The advantage is in, I would say, emotional intelligence and emotional strategy. So if you're more aggressive than me and you're more riled up, you're probably acting more irrational, more, out of survival.
You're the victim.
Chaotic. I have more time to think and plan and really see what's really going on. Also, allies would be I would probably have better chance
There you
of getting
go.
allies in the war.
There you go.
From other people and other greater nations, if they see that I didn't really have a hand in this, yeah, it's like if I didn't have a hand in this.
Great, Tree. That I love that. Good. I like that perspective of if you're the victim, you might have someone to come and they might have you. They'll cover for you because they know you're being beat up on. No one's going to cover for a bully. No offense, bully. But what do you think with this whole victim aggressor?
And you just said it right there. Nobody's going to cover for aggressive. I don't think too many people are going to be too quick to help Iran. They really not no victim because they deal with so many people, like you said, so many terrorist groups. They supply so many off the radar things with weapons and nuclear. They so involved and corrupt. Nobody really like Iran anyway, so they ain't got no help coming anyway. And when you a country like Iran, you should be prepared to be bombed anytime, to be honest with you.
Interesting. Yeah. But Iran, just to sum it up, like Israel, Iran has supported the terrorist groups that they're pro-Palestinian. You guys know a little bit about the Palestinian cause and the Israelis, how they've been fighting over that land ever since, like.
Yeah, then they just moved the Jews just into Palestine, or they moved the Palestinians into Jerusalem.
There's been a lot of displacement lately, and there's been a lot of bombing there. That's like another story. This is a mess in the Middle East. Like, this is crazy. But no.
All over land and greed. People feeling like, oh, this is our land.
Yeah. Well,
this is our land.
Let's do this. Let's flip the script on this quote real quick, and let's get back to the idea of war for a moment, and then this idea of talking. I'm going to read the quote again. Let's do a counterclaim to the quote. Let's disagree with it and come with a different side, because, war is here, and there's different ways to deal with it, and we need another perspective to come in here. I think we did a big justice to, once the fight starts, talking is over, okay? That's the claim. You don't win a war by talking to the enemy. Somebody push against this thing.
Actually, you can win a war talking to the enemy if the enemy don't know you're trying to be at war with them. Or you could throw the enemy off by talking to them. And people do that all the time. It's like you don't front your move, like in the streets, you don't front your move. Like say for instance, if you know these people stronger than you, but you got a problem with these people, so you might want to strike these people you don't want to know because you might not want to front your move. So you talking to them, think everything cool, but then the whole time you the one laying belt to them. You know what I'm saying? The whole time they don't even know, and you scratched up, and you could be distracting them and throwing them off by talking to them, and that could be your strategy to win the war.
I love it.
Also, to add to that, where we even get the term negotiation from? So if you ain't supposed to be able to talk to enemy to win a war, then why is there even a possibility of negotiation?
I would say
Because I feel like
negotiation is to try to end the war, not win the war.
you can still win a war though through negotiation.
Yeah, well,
You
there's
can
an essential
negotiate-
question.
If you could,
Can you win a war through negotiation?
yeah, I feel like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Tree. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, I feel like the winning of the war is just the conquering of the other. Now, if or the agreements upon one thing. So if I'm trying to come into y'all land and get the oil, and in my mind I can either take it by force, and we tried the force, we've been fighting, we done bombed y'all bombed us. Then if I could talk to y'all leader and be like, look, man, we've been bombing each other, we've lost thousands of people, y'all lost thousands of people. Can we just negotiate? What if we buy some of it? Like, will we get some and then the other half we buy, and then if they agree, you've won. It might not have been on how you think it might have been, but you just won. They agreed because the point was getting the oil.
Right. What
You
was
didn't
the
get it by
objective?
force.
Right.
You wasn't able to get the whole shebang, but you acquired the oil and you was able to stop any more bloodshed.
I feel like negotiating was a big part of humanity before money was even around. Like if you pay attention, back then you may have an apple tree or a peach tree, and I may have cows. You know what I'm saying? I need peaches and fruits, but you need beef. You know what I'm saying? We don't have money to physically exchange. So hey, I'll give you 5 pounds of beef and you give me, you know what I'm saying, probably 2 crates of peaches or something, you know what I'm saying? That's negotiating. We trading, vice versa, with me coming in your yard stealing or taking by force. You see what I'm saying? When we just can negotiate. I know it's something that you need that I got. And it's something that you got that I need that I don't got. So why not just come into a negotiation? Hey, look, you need this and I need this. I'll give you this and you give me that, but this has to be the terms. No war. We keep trading on a genuine basis. We keep this road open. No murder, no bloodshed. This is what we're gonna do. These are our 2 terms. 2 great leaders. That's all you gotta do. But like you say, like you dealing with one leader that's greedy. And that's Donald Trump. Like he ain't with all that. He ain't really trying to talk to you. He ain't really trying to talk to you.
Yeah. Like, and that's a way to avoid war. Like I see,
Especially with a person like Donald Trump though, like negotiating. Like I really feel like Iran, even though, well, to be honest, that's kind of like they karma though, cause y'all done impress other people, and now somebody stronger coming along to oppress y'all. So it's kind of karma. So I really feel like y'all should just go ahead, come to the negotiation, and open back up the strip so we could get the oil. Because like at this point, y'all really doing this to y'allself. To be honest.
Yeah, and that they have a ceasefire that just got signed, and that supposedly they're going to open it up. Yeah, the man, at this time of the day, the sun goes right through my window.
I see you getting your Patrick Swayze on, Steve. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So we're but there is a way. I got this. I know what I was going to say. Tree, what you were saying about how you can win if you negotiate and like you get what you want. A lot of it depends on what your objective is. Now follow this. when you have a war, the big thing everybody always talks about is, what are the military objectives, right? If it's to humiliate somebody and to wipe them off the face of the earth, then there's certain things you got to do that probably aren't going to involve talking. If your objective is to peace and prosperity and low gas prices, then you've got to not give up on the talking and probably use that in your strategy. I'm just thinking out loud here. It depends on the objective. Do people go to war with specific objectives? Sometimes it's just survival, right? Other times it's, oh man, I got to fight this guy, because if I don't fight him, everybody I know is looking at me. They're going to think I'm a punk. I've got to reassert my dominance. I don't want to hurt the guy necessarily, but he needs to be taught something in front of other people. There's my objective. Here's a guy robbing my house. My objective is to end his life, because if I don't do it, he could end my life. So I don't know if I'm making sense here, but that.
No, you make it perfect sense. See now what, like the point of perspective, like you were saying earlier. It's the point of perspective. So now it's basically off of what Donald Trump's true objective is. So is your real objective is just to get oil, or is your objective is to really be dominant, but you just using the oil as an scapegoat? But you've been really wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? You've been wanting to really get in war, but you needed something to just tick you off, or something to certify your war, which is oil. You know what I'm saying? But so say if Iran do open back up the street and do give us back the oil, and you still go to war with them, then we truly know your objective wasn't to get oil. Your objective was something bigger than what you made it seem. You see what I'm saying?
You know what he said it was at first? They have weapons of mass destruction. They're building a nuclear bomb, and they have to be stopped. That was what you were saying, Jarvis, like his criteria. The thing that made him justify the original bombing was, if we don't bomb these guys, they're going to develop a nuclear weapon and they're going to shoot us. Okay?
Funny as hell.
Someone talked
That's cap, but yeah. And then it go back to what you said, like he might not be a puppet, but he in bed with probably the major weapons dealers, the major companies, so he keeping them busy, he making them money. It's all money be the bottom line of all this at the end of the day. Keeping the rich richer and making it easier for them. And Trump feel like the United States is the strongest country, and he really just be trying to flex his muscle, in my opinion. To try to bully things to that way, to bully things to his way, to help his people out, because he's definitely in bed with the gun makers and all the weapon makers and all the oil people, for sure.
And I ain't gonna lie, I don't even be believing these wars sometimes. I ain't gonna even lie, bro. Because it's like, that could be the smoke and mirrors for something else that's going on. It's like, yeah, let's have everybody attention on the fact that we may be at war, while we really secretly not even at war. We doing some whole other backdoor stuff. And we getting down on all our citizens with this real thing we doing, but while they worrying about that, we over here doing this. Because it's like, all these wars start jumping off as soon as that Epstein stuff started coming out.
That number one right there. And also, I don't want to make a prediction, but I'm going to. The minute you're in war, you can justify anything when you're the president. You can justify, hey, we can't have elections. It's not safe. So this is what concerns me about this guy, Trump, okay? Because he might have some things he wants to get done, and he's doing them maybe for the right reasons. Iran isn't some saint, okay? But a guy like Trump, I think that he would leverage this, to, make it difficult for us, keep him in power and stuff. So, I don't want to be overly pessimistic with this, but it's scary. The minute you're claiming war and you're the president, you get multiplied powers. And you can do anything you want with that. And we're the victims of that. Okay. That brings it home right there.
Yep.
All right. I don't want to end on a note like that, though. What do we got? I mean, we did both sides, right? There's times to talk. but there's also times to like let that stuff go, and you've got to like something has to be resolved, and it's in a physical realm now. This isn't mental. This isn't intellectual. It's not what do you think? What do I think? We got to end this. That doesn't mean we have to humiliate and kill somebody. Sometimes it's just a beat down, and then you help them back up. Like after
Well, how about they go box then? How about they Donald Trump and the Iran president box it out then, and then we all good, man.
I'd watch it.
I'll watch it
perfect
too,
world.
bro. Stop, hey, cause I'll tell them, man. Hey, stop dragging everybody else and y'all and y'all two beef, man. 8,000 people ain't got nothing to do with y'all two, man.
Yeah.
Y'all trip. Hey, go box it out to you.
There you go. That's what Elon Musk wanted to do with Zuckerberg. They were going to do a cage match. I would have watched that stuff. That's just okay. All right. Thanks, fellas. This is Teach Different. You don't realize this, for all our new listeners. We followed a structure to that conversation, which I hope kept it like within the rails a little bit, and kept it so that we weren't sitting here agreeing with each other constantly. We were looking at different sides. We had a claim and a counterclaim, and then we had some questions throughout. So if anybody listening is a parent, teacher, or you work at a school, reach out to us. Teach Different. We train teachers in this method so that, you're going to have your kids have conversations like this about important topics, and they're just going to become wise. They're going to become leaders in our society. This is what we need, people who can discuss things like this and get somewhere with it. So thank you again for coming. I'm going to have my guys back soon, and we will see you on the next Teach Different podcast. Thank you.